Build a mind so strong that fear avoids you, doubt cannot touch you, and people feel your power before you speak. That's the standard we're talking about here. Not a little motivation, not temporary confidence, but a level of inner strength that makes you unshakable. Most people never reach it because they let comfort, emotions, and opinions run their life. But if you're tired of being controlled by weakness, this is where everything changes. In this video, you'll learn how to train your mind step by step until it becomes sharper, tougher, and disciplined enough to take on anything. Stay with me, because once you understand how to build a mind so strong it scares people, you will never go back to the way you were living before. This is the knowledge that separates the average from the unstoppable. Chapter 1. Control your inner talk before it quietly destroys you. Your inner talk is the quiet voice that shapes the way you see yourself and the way you act every single day. If you want to build a mind so strong that people notice it without you saying a word, then you must learn to control that voice before it quietly destroys you. Most people never pay attention to what they say to themselves, and that's why they stay stuck. They wake up with doubt, carry worry all day, and go to bed with regret. And the cycle continues. But if you want a strong mind, you must break that cycle. The first step is awareness. You can't fix what you don't see. Start paying attention to the way you talk to yourself during the day. Notice when you criticize yourself, when you say you're not good enough, or when you tell yourself you'll probably fail. Those are not harmless thoughts. They shape your confidence, your decisions, and your future. If every day you repeat the same negative talk, you condition your mind to believe it. And when you believe it, you live it. The mind is not destroyed all at once. It's destroyed piece by the things you keep saying inside. That's why you need to take control. Now, how do you take control? You do it with intention. Every time you catch yourself saying something that tears you down, stop it. Replace it with something that builds you up. If you hear yourself saying, "I can't handle this," you replace it with, "I can figure this out step by step." If you hear yourself saying, "I'm not smart enough," you replace it with, "I'm still learning, and I'm getting better every day." This is not about lying to yourself. It's about telling yourself the truth in a way that makes you stronger, not weaker. The truth is, you can learn, you can grow, and you can improve. That's what you need to remind yourself of daily. Think about how powerful this is. If you speak words of defeat to yourself every day, you end up living a defeated life. If you speak words of strength to yourself every day, you build a stronger life. The difference between people who succeed and people who don't is not just in their skills or opportunities. It's in the conversation they keep inside their own head. The winners speak strength, the losers speak weakness, and every day those conversations shape their destiny. When you start to take control of your inner talk, you will feel uncomfortable at first. You've been repeating the same lines for years, maybe even your whole life, telling yourself you're not enough, that you'll never get ahead, that you'll never change. But when you start to interrupt that pattern, you begin to rewire your mind. You are training your thoughts like you train your body. And just like exercise, the first few days feel strange, but the more you practice, the stronger you get. Another key is to build a strong vocabulary for your inner talk. Words matter. Weak words build a weak mind. Strong words build a strong mind. If you tell yourself, "I'm trying," you give yourself permission to quit. If you tell yourself, "I'm doing this," you give yourself no choice but to follow through. One word can change your mindset. So pay attention to the words you choose because they shape the way you act. And here's something important: control doesn't mean ignoring reality. If you failed, admit it. If you're behind, admit it. But don't stop there. Add the second part. Say, "Yes, I failed, but I can try again." Say, "Yes, I'm behind, but I can catch up if I start now. A strong mind doesn't deny the truth. A strong mind faces the truth and then chooses a response that builds strength instead of weakness. You also need to be careful about the tone you use with yourself. Many people are harsher with themselves than they would ever be with someone they love. Imagine if a friend came to you and said, "I messed up at work. I don't think I'm good enough." Would you tell them, "You're right, you're worthless"? Of course not. But that's exactly what many people tell themselves daily. You need to become your own coach, not your own enemy. Speak to yourself with honesty, but also with encouragement. You can correct yourself without destroying yourself. Another practical way to control your inner talk is to set up daily check-ins. During the day, stop for a moment and ask yourself, "What am I saying to myself right now?" You'll be surprised how often the voice in your head is negative without you realizing it. Once you notice it, you have the power to shift it. Instead of, "I'll never finish this," say, "If I keep going, I'll get it done." Instead of, "I always make mistakes," say, "Mistakes are proof I'm trying, and I can learn." The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Now think about the long-term effect. If you spend 1 year controlling your inner talk, how much stronger will your mind be compared to someone who spends the same year tearing themselves down? The difference will be massive. One person will walk into a room with confidence and presence. The other will shrink, even if they have the same abilities. The one who controlled their inner talk will scare people with their strength, not because they're arrogant, but because their presence speaks louder than words. And remember this, the world will try to plant thoughts in your mind too. Social media, television, other people, they all put voices in your head. Some of those voices are toxic. They tell you you're not enough, you don't measure up, you'll never get there. If you don't control your inner talk, you'll start repeating those voices as if they're your own. You'll start believing lies that were never yours to begin with. That's why you must filter what you allow in, and you must strengthen your inner voice until it's louder than all the noise outside. You want a mind so strong it scares people. Then you must master this one thing: never allow your inner talk to destroy you. Because that's how most people lose. They don't get defeated by the world. They get defeated by themselves. The mind collapses before the body does. The spirit gives up before the opportunity arrives. But when you control your inner talk, you build armor around your thoughts. You stay calm when others panic. You stay strong when others quit. You keep moving when others stand still. So here's what you do starting today. Pay attention to your inner talk. Interrupt the weak lines. Replace them with strong ones. Speak to yourself with words that make you grow, not shrink. Choose words that build, not break. Do this every day. Do it in the morning when you wake up, during the day when you face challenges, and at night before you sleep. Make it a daily habit. And little by little, you will notice your confidence rising, your discipline sharpening, and your strength becoming unshakable. And one day, you'll walk into a room and people will feel it. They won't know exactly what it is, but they'll sense that you're different. They'll sense that your mind is not weak, not fragile, not easily shaken. They'll see that your mind is strong, calm, and controlled. And that strength will set you apart, because most people never learn to control their inner talk. But you will. This is where it all begins. Before you build wealth, before you build success, before you build anything lasting, you must build your mind. And that starts with the conversation you have with yourself when nobody else is listening. Control your inner talk before it quietly destroys you. Build it daily. Strengthen it daily. Protect it daily. Because the strongest mind is not built by chance, it's built by choice. Chapter 2. Face discomfort until your mind stops craving the easy way. Most people spend their lives avoiding discomfort. They look for shortcuts, easier paths, softer choices. They try to keep everything safe and predictable. But the truth is, a safe life makes a weak mind. If you want to build a mind so strong it scares people, you must train yourself to face discomfort until your mind no longer craves the easy way. Strength is not built in the moments when everything feels smooth. Strength is built when you face something that makes you nervous, uncertain, or uncomfortable, and you keep moving forward anyway. Discomfort is not the enemy. Discomfort is a signal. It tells you that you are stepping into growth. It tells you that you are doing something your old self wouldn't do. And it is in those moments, when you step beyond the easy road, that your mind begins to change. A weak mind looks for relief. A strong mind looks for challenge. And the only way to shift from one to the other is to put yourself deliberately in uncomfortable situations until they no longer scare you. Think about your daily life. The alarm rings in the morning. The easy way is to hit snooze, roll over, and get more sleep. The uncomfortable way is to get up immediately and take charge of the day. When you choose the easy way, you weaken your discipline without realizing it. When you choose discomfort, you strengthen your willpower. Each small choice builds the direction of your mind. And over time, those choices determine whether you are fragile or powerful. Facing discomfort doesn't mean punishing yourself. It means refusing to live soft. It means refusing to stay in the little circle where everything feels familiar. That circle is where growth dies. When you stay in comfort, you stop learning, you stop improving, you stop pushing yourself. A strong mind is built by walking beyond that circle every single day. That might mean speaking up when you're afraid to, doing the work when you're tired, starting the project when you feel unprepared, or saying no when it would be easier to say yes. Every time you choose discomfort, you build new mental muscle. Discomfort also exposes the lies your mind tells you. Your mind will say, "This is too much for me. I can't handle this. It will be easier to stop." But when you face that discomfort and keep going, you prove those thoughts wrong. You show yourself that you are capable of far more than you thought. The next time discomfort shows up, your mind remembers that you already survived it once, and it no longer has the same power over you. That is how you slowly kill the craving for the easy way. Most people spend their energy avoiding discomfort, but the irony is that avoiding discomfort only makes life harder in the long run. If you avoid the gym today because it feels tough, you face health problems later. If you avoid studying today because it feels boring, you face regret later. If you avoid difficult conversations today because they feel awkward, you face broken relationships later. By running from discomfort now, you create bigger pain later. The strong know this, and that's why they embrace the discomfort now. They understand that it's temporary and it pays off. You can start training your mind by making small changes. Take the stairs when the elevator is right there. Speak up in the meeting when you'd rather stay silent. Push out one more repetition at the gym when your body says stop. Stay with the work for another hour when you feel like walking away. These small acts of discomfort are not just physical, they are psychological training. They tell your brain that you are in control, not your craving for ease. And the more you do it, the stronger you feel. There is something powerful that happens when you choose discomfort on purpose. It builds confidence in a way nothing else can. You start to trust yourself because you know you can handle the hard things. You no longer fear challenges because you've trained yourself to face them. And when other people see you walk straight into difficulty without flinching, they notice something different about you. They see a mind that doesn't break easily. They see someone who can stay steady when the world gets tough. That kind of strength is rare, and it demands respect. Discomfort also teaches you patience. The easy way is fast. It gives you instant gratification, but it rarely leads to anything meaningful. Discomfort, on the other hand, takes time. It asks you to stay longer, endure more, and keep going when results don't show up immediately. Patience built through discomfort is what separates those who give up quickly from those who reach something extraordinary. Your ability to tolerate discomfort without running away is directly tied to your ability to create a strong, unshakable life. The mind learns by repetition. If you keep choosing comfort, the mind gets addicted to it. If you keep choosing discomfort, the mind gets addicted to growth. That's why your daily habits matter more than occasional big decisions. Every day, you are either training your mind to run or training your mind to rise. A strong mind is not born in one moment of courage. It is born in thousands of small moments where you chose discomfort over ease. Think about the people you admire, the ones who have power in their presence, the ones whose minds seem untouchable. They didn't get there by choosing the soft way every day. They got there by facing the workouts, the failures, the rejections, the early mornings, the lonely nights, the criticism, and the pressure. While others escaped into comfort, they stayed with the discomfort until it stopped controlling them. That's why they are strong, and that's why others follow them. There is another side to this. If you never face discomfort, you will always live with fear. Fear grows in comfort. When you never step outside your safe zone, your mind convinces you that the world outside is dangerous. But when you step into discomfort regularly, fear loses its grip. The things that once terrified you become normal. Speaking in front of people, taking risks, working long hours, making bold decisions, all of it becomes part of you. And when fear no longer controls you, your strength becomes undeniable. The challenge for you is to reframe the way you see discomfort. Stop looking at it as something to avoid and start seeing it as the path to becoming unshakable. When discomfort shows up, don't run. Lean into it. Breathe through it. Remind yourself that this is how strength is built. Remind yourself that every time you embrace it, you are one step closer to a mind that others can't break. This shift doesn't happen in a week. It doesn't happen in a month. It's a lifelong practice. But each day you face discomfort, your mind changes a little more. And eventually, something remarkable happens. You stop craving the easy way. The temptation to take shortcuts loses its pull. The desire to stay safe feels boring. You begin to crave growth, challenge, and progress instead. That is when you know your mind has transformed. That is when you know you are on your way to unshakable strength. So start small, but start today. Pick one thing you've been avoiding because it feels uncomfortable and face it. Push yourself just a little further than you did yesterday. Train your mind to see discomfort as the door, not the wall. Over time, you will build a foundation so solid that the easy way no longer appeals to you. Your identity shifts from someone who avoids challenge to someone who thrives in it. And when that shift happens, people will notice. They will see it in the way you carry yourself. They will feel it in your presence. They will realize that your mind is not like theirs, that you no longer live for comfort, that you have built something far stronger. And that strength, once developed, will stay with you for the rest of your life. This is the work of building a mind so strong it scares people. It begins with facing discomfort again and again until your mind stops begging for ease and starts demanding growth. Once you reach that point, you will no longer be controlled by the pull of comfort. You will have built a mind that is calm, confident, resilient, and unshakable. And that is the kind of mind that changes everything. Chapter 3. Discipline yourself when nobody is watching your choices. Discipline is the real test of strength, and the truth is, it shows up most when nobody is around to see you. Anyone can act disciplined when there is a crowd watching, when praise is on the line, or when there is a reward waiting at the end. But the discipline that builds a mind so strong it scares people happens in the quiet hours, in the private decisions, in the small moments when no one is there to applaud you. It's the choice you make late at night. It's the decision you take in the morning. It's what you do with your time when nobody will ever find out. That's the difference between people who appear strong and people who are truly strong. When nobody is watching, the temptation to cut corners is high. You think, no one will know if I skip this workout. Nobody cares if I waste this hour scrolling. Nobody will ever see me eating this junk food. Nobody notices if I ignore the book I said I would read. And in one sense, you're right. Nobody else sees, but there is one person who sees everything. You. And the truth is, the mind remembers every choice you make. Every time you break your word to yourself, your self-trust gets weaker. And when your self-trust weakens, so does your strength. A strong mind cannot exist without self-trust. Discipline in private builds a character that is unshakable in public. The man or woman who trains themselves to stay true when nobody else is there develops a deep kind of respect for themselves. That respect is not visible to the outside world at first, but it shapes the way you carry yourself, the way you think, and the way you respond to pressure. When you know you can depend on yourself, you carry a quiet confidence that others feel. They may not know why, but they sense that your mind is different. Discipline is not about punishment, it is about alignment. It is about making your actions match your goals. If you say you want health, then your choices with food, exercise and rest must reflect it. If you say you want success, then your hours must be invested in skill building, learning and work that takes you closer to it. If you say you want strength, then you must face discomfort, not avoid it. The challenge is simple. Do your private actions align with the life you say you want? If they don't, then you are only pretending. The danger with pretending is that it looks good for a while, but it collapses under pressure. You might fool others for a time, but you cannot fool yourself. And when life tests you, when real difficulty shows up, the truth is exposed. If you have been disciplined in private, you will stand firm. If you haven't, you will fold. That's why private discipline matters more than public image. Because in the end, the truth always comes out. To discipline yourself when nobody is watching, you need to create systems. Relying on motivation alone is not enough. Motivation fades. Discipline stays. Systems are simple habits and rules that guide your behavior when nobody is there to check on you. For example, if you want to wake up early, set a bedtime routine that forces you to sleep on time. If you want to eat clean, remove junk food from your house so the temptation is gone. If you want to study daily, schedule it like an appointment and treat it as non-negotiable. Systems remove the need for constant willpower, and they make discipline easier to maintain in private. Another critical part of private discipline is honesty. Be brutally honest with yourself. When you fail to keep a promise, don't excuse it. Admit it, face it, and then correct it. Excuses are the enemy of discipline because they let you avoid responsibility. Every time you excuse yourself, you train your mind to believe that weakness is acceptable. Discipline grows when you admit the truth, even if it stings, and then do better the next time. Honesty builds integrity, and integrity is the foundation of a strong mind. Discipline also requires clarity. If you don't know what you want, your private actions will always wander. Decide what matters most to you. Decide the standards you want to live by. Write them down. Define them so clearly that there is no confusion. Then, in those private moments, measure your actions against those standards. Did you live up to them today? Did you lower them when nobody was looking? Clarity makes discipline easier because it removes the gray areas. Without clarity, your mind will always negotiate with comfort. With clarity, the decision becomes simple. Either you lived by your standard or you didn't. The strength you gain from private discipline shows up in surprising ways. It shows up in your patience when others get frustrated. It shows up in your confidence when others doubt themselves. It shows up in your persistence when others quit. People may not see the hundreds of private decisions you made, but they will see the results. They will see that you are steady, consistent, and reliable. They will feel that you are different. That difference comes from the small battles you fought in silence. Private discipline also protects you from regret. Nothing eats the mind faster than knowing you could have done better, but chose not to. Regret is the cost of undisciplined living. And the worst part is, regret doesn't go away easily. It stays. It whispers to you in the quiet moment. It reminds you of what you gave up for comfort. On the other hand, discipline in private builds pride. Not the kind of pride that boasts, but the kind that sits deep inside and tells you, I can trust myself. I keep my word. That kind of pride is powerful. There will be times when you feel nobody cares about your discipline, and that can make it harder to keep going. But remember, you are not building discipline for them. You are building it for you. You are building it so you can carry a mind that doesn't break. You are building it so you can look in the mirror and respect what you see. You are building it so when life gets tough, you know you have the strength to endure. Others may never notice your discipline in private, but they will always notice the strength it creates in public. Self-discipline when nobody is watching is also the root of freedom. Without discipline, you become a slave to your impulses. Whatever feels good in the moment controls you. But with discipline, you control your impulses instead of being controlled by them. That control gives you freedom. Freedom to live the life you want, instead of the life your weaknesses dictate. Freedom to say no when you need to. Freedom to stay the course when distractions call. That kind of freedom is rare, but it is priceless. The test of private discipline will come every day. It will come when the alarm rings and you decide whether to get up. It will come when you sit down to work and decide whether to focus or drift. It will come when you are tired and decide whether to follow through or quit. Each of those moments is a test, and each choice is a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. Weak minds fail the test when nobody is around. Strong minds pass the test no matter who is watching. And here's the most important part. Nobody can give you this discipline. You must give it to yourself. You can be inspired by others, but in the end it is you who makes the choice. That's what makes it powerful. It's not handed to you, it's earned through daily practice, through small victories, through private wins that nobody celebrates but you. That's how a strong mind is built. If you truly want to discipline yourself when nobody is watching, start with one commitment today. Choose one area of your life where you know you've been cutting corners in private. Make a clear promise to yourself. Keep it. Prove to yourself that you can be trusted. Then choose another area. Build from there. Day by day, choice by choice, you will create a pattern of private discipline that changes the way you see yourself. And when that shift happens, others will notice. They will notice the strength in your eye. They will notice the steadiness in your presence. They will sense that you don't waver easily, that your mind is anchored. And the reason will be simple. You trained yourself in the silence, in the dark, in the unnoticed hour. You built a mind of discipline when nobody was watching. And that strength now speaks louder than any words. That is how you build a mind so strong it scares people. Not with speeches, not with appearances, but with the private choices that nobody else will ever see. Because in the end, the strongest discipline is not about who you are in public. It's about who you are when you are completely alone. That is where strength is born. And that is where the foundation of an unshakable life is built. Chapter 4. Refuse emotional reactions and act only with clear mind. One of the hardest tests for the human mind is keeping control when emotions start to rise. Anger, frustration, jealousy, fear, anxiety, these emotions can take over fast if you don't train yourself to handle them. They push you to act without thinking, to say things you later regret, to make decisions that damage your future. If you want to build a mind that feels unshakable, you must learn to refuse emotional reactions and act only with a clear mind. This is not about becoming cold or shutting off your feelings. It's about gaining the strength to lead your emotions instead of being led by them. Think about the last time you reacted in anger. Maybe you raised your voice at someone. Maybe you sent a message you shouldn't have. Maybe you made a decision in the heat of the moment that cost you later. In that moment, your emotions were in charge, not your reason. A strong mind doesn't allow that. A strong mind feels the emotion, acknowledges it, but doesn't hand it the steering wheel. Instead, it pauses, breathes, and waits until clarity returns. Then it acts. This kind of control takes training because emotions are fast. They arrive in your body before your logical mind has time to respond. Your heart rate goes up, your chest tightens, your voice sharpens, your thoughts race. If you do not have a system in place, you will get caught in the wave and swept away by it. But if you have trained yourself to pause, to breathe and to wait, you create space between the emotion and your response. In that space, your power grows. Why is this so important? Because most of life's biggest regrets come from emotional reactions. People ruin relationships in a burst of anger. They lose opportunities because they let fear guide them. They waste years because they follow jealousy or resentment. Emotions make terrible leaders, but powerful servants. They are meant to inform you, not control you. Anger might tell you something is unfair. Fear might warn you to be careful. But only your clear mind should decide how you respond. That separation is what makes the difference between a strong person and a fragile one. Training yourself to refuse emotional reactions starts with awareness. The moment you feel the heat rise in your body, recognize it, name it. This is anger. This is fear. This is frustration. By naming it, you separate yourself from it. You remind yourself that the emotion is not who you are. It is just a signal. After awareness comes control of the body. Slow your breathing, loosen your shoulders, relax your jaw. When the body calms, the mind begins to clear. It may take a few minutes, sometimes longer, but the more you practice, the quicker it happens. A clear mind sees what an emotional mind cannot. In anger, you see only the insult. In calm, you see the bigger picture. In fear, you see only the threat. In calm, you see the opportunity hidden behind it. In frustration, you see only what's wrong. In calm, you see what can be fixed. The clear mind doesn't deny the problem. It simply chooses the smartest response. And that's why refusing emotional reactions makes you powerful. You make